Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Maxine Fothergill. Maxine, you've been running your letting agency and block management business now for over 20 years in Gravesend. Why do you think letting agents should and shouldn't do block management? Talk to me.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's our 20th year of actually running the business down in Gravesend. What I would say about lettings is lettings and block management is a different animal. And it really is totally different.
Is it like the difference between sales and lettings?
It is. It is. Where we have a huge amount of legislation, over 400 parts of legislation in the letting side, and we have to know our stuff. In block management, it's far worse. And you have to actually learn and internalise varying different parts of all the varying different leasehold legislations. Also, the difference with lettings as opposed to block management is that lettings, even though we are actually put in place and we're obviously accountable to our landlords, it is still the landlord's responsibility to audit and to make sure that they're putting the right agent in place, and it comes back to the agent, back to the landlords. In block management, it is 100% the agent responsibility. So having high PI and expecting to have a claim on your PI at some stage is pretty much the norm. It is very, very different. You are looking at dealing with in some cases, thousands, can be millions of pounds, depending on the development you're looking at, you're looking after. It's also about knowing about health and safety, about buildings, about building construction, about how to actually schedule out your costs, understanding and reading of a lease, and that in itself can be the biggest minefield going. Scheduling out work, so we are responsible for every single thing that goes on, from the cleaning up to large major development.
Sorting the roof out and sinking funds and things like that.
Yeah, major work, Section 20, putting money aside to be able to actually pay for those things. And also then you've got lessees that might be very disgruntled because it's a thankless task, I'll be honest with you. Most people, that all they ever look at is how much they're actually paying their service charge. And the normal thing when you get a phone call from a lessee is, I'm paying you for all of this, so what are you doing for me? Even though it's like they're looking at the bigger picture of like how much it's costing to actually manage everything and to pay for all of the facilities, not have our management fee, but the overall fee. But what they don't actually understand and they realise is this is actually like the bigger picture of it. It's to pay for absolutely everything. And we need to be able to manage people's expectations. We need to be able to explain to them exactly how their schedule, how their costing is worked out. And if they're really unhappy, then they have the right to go to a tribunal. And more cases now are being heard from the first tier tribunal on leaseholds problems. A lessee has the right to actually come into our office and to demand to see the books. So we have to keep really good accounting from the previous year. They can literally sit in the office. Someone's got to spend time with them for the day, actually explaining everything. Letting agents have no idea of all of these things that actually can be a huge, great big burden if you don't know what you're doing.
How do letting agents learn all this?
By actually training. I mean, for me, I fell into it, literally fell into it, owning 2 properties of my own, buying them back in the late 90s, and letting them out as corporate lets, doing the fundamental wrong thing of not actually checking them because the rent was coming in, so I checked them, it was all good stuff. Until I got a call from the company that was letting out the 2 properties to say, I've got to give them back, and have you been there lately? I went down to the development and I was absolutely shocked. The 31 blocks, 400 odd units, and every one of the front doors had been smashed in. Every window in the common part had actually been broken, and most of the staircases had been kicked in as well. So I obviously had to deal with that. Oh, and all the lead had been stolen as well from each of the blocks. What happened is the managing agent actually passed away and nobody would take it on. It was a no quote because it was actually known all up and down the country by every police station, literally from up at Tyne and Wear down to like the bottom end of Kent, as actually being a no-go area and the worst estate in the country. I was asked if I would take it on with no experience. And because there was nobody else who would actually be prepared to take it on, I actually decided to take that challenge.
Okay, so you took it on, but are there courses out there that people can teach agents how
Well,
to do
that's
this?
what I had to do. I had to fast track. I went to ARLA. I actually became a member of ARLA. I booked myself on every single course available that could actually teach me. I did my IRPM qualifications.
What's this ARMA thing? Sorry,
ARLA is the Association of Residential Managing.
agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's not part of Propertymark, is it?
no, ARLA isn't part of Propertymark. It is it's a smaller organisation, but it specialises in block.
And do they run training programs for their
They
members?
run really, really good training programs, especially for that area.
There you go, ARMA guys. I didn't even know you existed, and I'd like to consider myself. I know what's happening in the industry. So there you go. That's how they can check. So if anyone wants to get into property management, block management,
I would say the first thing is to seek out ARLA, find out what they can do, how they can help you. I mean, Propertymark also provide actually some pretty good training courses now for block, and it is an area that we are actually looking at. But at the time, Propertymark wasn't doing anything like that, and ARLA was the only place, and then the association of the IRPM, and that's more individual membership where you can do your professional qualifications.
And what's that? The IPRM, what's that one?
The Institute of Residential Property Managers.
There you go. We learn something every day. I hope you've learned something. I've certainly learned something. Maxine, thank you for your time today.
That's all right. Thank you very much.